स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. Namaskar to all of you. Welcome to the study of the life of householder disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. We were studying the life of Navagopal Ghosh and his wife Nistarani Ghosh. We had already completed a quite bit of the life. We will continue from there. In 1903, Navagopal and his family went on a pilgrimage to Vrindavan and stayed at Balaram Basu's retreat house, where Swami Brahmananda and Turiyananda were then practicing austerities, that is tapasya. They were doing intense spiritual practice. Nirode, that is the son of Navagopal Ghosh and Nistarani Ghosh, that son of this couple, Nirode, became very close to Swami Brahmananda. And later on, he became his disciple. He also became a monk in the Ramakrishna order. Nirode was an accomplished classical singer, and Swami Brahmananda made him his attendant. So Sevak, always he will be with that Swamiji, senior Swamiji, and serve him, help him. So that person is called the Sevak, attendant. Now, Swami Ambikananda, that is Nirode, later on, wherever he used to go, Swami Brahmananda used to hear many bhajans, songs, and if he would like that particular song, he would tell Ambikananda, his disciple, to get that song and also to put beautiful tunes to it. And then he used to introduce in our order, especially in Belur Bhatt. So you might notice that Swami Brahmananda, while I was in Bangalore, he heard that wonderful Ramanama Sankirtan, which we sing now on Ekadashis. That Swami Brahmananda heard it in Bangalore Ashrama. He liked it very much because it contains the essence of whole of Ramayana. So he asked Ambikananda to learn it, get that copy in Sanskrit, the Ramanama Sankirtan, because in South India and especially in Bangalore, they were singing in the Carnatic classical, South Indian classical style. So that was difficult for the devotees or the group congregation to sing. To make it simple, so Swami Brahmananda asked Ambikananda to give it a new tune. Now, expert classical singer and also very intelligent, Swami Ambikananda gave it a semi-classical touch, tuned it in such a way, and it was introduced all over the Ramakrishna Ashrama. Swami Brahmananda made it compulsory that all should sing Ramanam Sankirtan in that particular tune on the Ekadashi day in front of the photo of Ramachandra. The tradition goes on even now, and the same tune with which Swami Ambikananda tuned it is still being used very meticulously everywhere, not only in India, all over the world on Ekadashi. This particular tune of Ramanam Sankirtan will be sung. So that was tuned. That Ramanam Sankirtan was tuned in that particular raga, the way we sing it now, and it was introduced by Swami Brahmananda. So Ambikananda, his disciple, was the one who gave that particular tune. So he was named Nirode in his pre-monastic days. He became very close to Swami Brahmananda and also became his disciple, and then later on joined the order. He became a monk. He was an he became he was an accomplished singer, and Swami Brahmananda made him his attendant. On that occasion, Navagopal went with Swami Brahmananda to visit Prayaga, where is the confluence of three rivers Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, and also to Vindhyachala. So the Vindhyachala is the place where Mother Durga, Divine Mother, is seated after Kamsa tried to kill all the children. Before Krishna was born, it was this Divine Mother, Yogamaya, who was born as the child. And Kamsa, thinking that that was the child which would kill him, he smashed it to the stone. And the Divine Mother, in the form of that baby, escaped, taking the form of a eagle or a that big eagle Garuda. Then staying on the Akasha, in the air, she scolded him, telling that you think that you have killed Krishna. No, Krishna is still living there, he will kill you. And then, in the form of that eagle, big eagle or Garuda, the Divine Mother went and seated there on the Vindhyachala mountains. And there a beautiful temple was built later on. Nowadays, it has become like a commercial complex full of shops and so many people. But recently, when Amit Shah, the Home Minister of India, went there, he thought about this Vindhyachala, seeing, looking at this bad plight. So he's decided to make a special corridor. The project has been given a shape and they want to build a beautiful temple around it and make it more neat and clean, just like Kashi. Varanasi is done by Modi, the Prime Minister of India. Likewise, Amit Shah has planned, and they have a huge plan to build around that Vindhyachala. Maybe in future there will be a beautiful temple there if the Divine Mother wishes. So recently, when I went to Kashi, after visiting Kashi, from Kashi, I went to this place, Vindhyachala. So there, because it was in the Garuda form or in the eagle, the kite form, so the image of the Divine Mother has a nose like that of a eagle or a kite, Garuda. The nose is very sharp like this. It is because the Divine Mother had taken that kite form or the eagle form. So Swami Brahmananda, when he went there, living up all the other people in their tents or in their place where they stayed, midnight, Amavasya, on the no moon day, he took a lamp, covered himself with blanket to be protected by the cold, and then took the help of Ambikananda and went to the temple. And when he went there, he had the vision of the Divine Mother. He made Swami Ambikananda to sing some songs on Divine Mother. We had the vision of the Divine Mother there. After retirement, Navagopal, when he got retired from his job, he used to bathe in the Ganga every day. And on his way back, he would chant Jai Ramakrishna, victory to Ramakrishna, victory to Ramakrishna. Many people would join him and chant that name, Jai Ramakrishna. And Navagopal would distribute sweets amongst all of them who would repeat to inspire them to take the name of Ramakrishna. His daily duty was to give medicine from the charitable dispensary free of cost to the poor people, poor patients, those who were very poor and would not, those people who were very poor would also not only receive medicines but also food to eat from him. Navagopal performed kirtan at his house. See, this is a model for all people. After retirement, We want to lead a lazy life. We will have the dream of just sitting on an easy chair or a couch and then watching the TV, sipping coffee or tea, and then just leading a very lazy life. We have that dream. Then you'll get all the varieties of diseases, and you'll get dementia, and you'll forget everything and have a very bad end. Do we need it? See here, Navagopal Ghosh is showing us how to lead a life, wonderful life after retirement. You should be very active. You should dedicate your life to God. Enough of earning money. Now you have to dedicate your life to God, service of the poor. Then your mind will be very bright and you will have a wonderful end of your life. The last portion of your life will be very happy. So now you can see how he's spending his retirement days. He's giving medicines to the poor people in the charitable dispensary, and not only that, those people who are very poor, he used to give them food. And not only the physical needs, but the spiritual needs. Like he used to perform kirtan at his house every day, Sankirtan, singing the bhajans with all the musical instruments, dancing and going around singing the name of the Lord. So that Sankirtan would be there in his house every day. And all the neighbors would join him. They used to join in singing. Thus he spread the message of Sri Ramakrishna. While after singing, he used to distribute them the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, the ideas, the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna to all of them. So thus he spread the message of Master. Through contact with Navagopal, many people became, many people around, and many people whoever used to come, they would be transformed into devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. Not just devotees for the namesake, but in the real sense would follow. So that is called, when we follow the ideals, the teachings of that particular Devata, deity, in reality, then only we are called the devotees. Simply because we wear some particular type of dress or wear some religious mark, or if we claim that we are the devotees of God, we won't become devotees of that particular deity. If we have to become the devotees, we have to do whatever that deity liked. Whatever that deity or the avatar has given us, the teaching has to be followed in our life. We have to imbibe the qualities. Just like if you are the devotee of Ramachandra, you have to at least learn how to respect your father and mother, obey your father and mother. Then you should be truthful. Should be Ekapatni Vartastha like Ramachandra, dedicating your life only to a wife in a very good way, looking after her just like Ramachandra did, not looking at other women with any bad intention, looking towards all other women other than his wife like his own mother. So that was the ideal which Ramachandra gave. So Ramachandra was Prathama Bhashi, used to speak to anybody. First, he himself used to get introduced to other people and speak to them. Then Prathama Bhashi, Madhura Bhashi, very sweet words, used to talk to people in such a sweet way, people would be pleased. That was Ramachandra's character. So if you claim to be the devotee of Ramachandra, at least you to imbibe these qualities little by little and then become perfect in that qualities. There are so many other qualities of Ramachandra. I've given few. So then only you are called the devotee of that particular deity or the Ishtadevata or the Avatar Purusha. So likewise you can see he himself was a great devotee of Ramakrishna, used to follow what Ramakrishna told him. Then he taught that teaching to many devotees and made them the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna, the true devotees, molding our character, our life in that mold which Sri Ramakrishna had left, the teachings, the life. So through contact with Navagopal, many people became devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. His mind, Navagopal's mind, dwelled on the master. And as a result, see, here is a wonderful statement. Because his mind was always dwelling on Sri Ramakrishna, as a result, Maya the power of Parabrahma, which deludes us, so that Maya, Mahamaya, could not overwhelm him or bring him down, bring his mind down to the lower level. So recently, that is this week, this Sunday, as every Sunday we have the class for children. So the last, before every session, you have to sit with the teacher and they bring in a topic, some aspect of Hinduism to be taught to the students. So 1 week, that was the last week, I think, if I'm right. It was the Saturn, the planet Saturn, Shanaishchara. So many things of that planet was given, and in the end, the fierce aspect troubling all other people, giving them difficulties was brought there. So I told the children will be afraid, they will get into superstition, fear, so that mode is to be removed. So the true aspect is to be given. Then I gave a separate extra thing telling that God will never punish, or God, small letter gods or big letter God, they do not never punish. Nobody can punish anybody. Nobody can cause you difficulty. Only because of our bad karmas, the bad deeds we do, we get into trouble. All the troubles we face, all the difficulties we face, is only because of our own misdeeds which we have committed earlier in our life or in our last life or any other life. That's why know for certain any difficulty, any trouble, any miseries which we face is not given by God. God never troubles anybody. On the contrary, by your misdeeds in some other life or this life, you get into trouble. You sincerely pray to Lord. So the Lord will take you out, reduce the difficulty, take you out of the difficulty, help you. That is the grace of God. God never punishes anybody. It's our own mistakes, our own misdeeds, our own karmas, bad karmas, which punishes us, or our own good deeds or punya that gives us all the good things in our life. But when we are troubled by the misdeeds, the bad karmas, then if you pray, if you take refuge at the feet of the Lord and pray to Him, then He will reduce the intensity of that bad karma and He will help us to come out of that. So I told that aspect during the children's class so that the children should know it's our deed which brings us misery. So by our good deeds, we can neutralize or come out of that problem. So that idea was given. So here, note it. Because Navagopal's mind dwelled on Sri Ramakrishna, and as a result, Maya, the power of Brahman which deludes us, the Maya, the all deluding, all powerful Maya, could not overwhelm him, bring his mind down. Navagopal, because of the protection of Ramakrishna, always thinking, always doing the work of Lord Ramakrishna, so Maya couldn't overwhelm him. Maya couldn't control or take the mind down. So that is the power of the protection of Sri Ramakrishna. So Navagopal's mind dwelled on the master, and as a result, Maya could not overwhelm him. Everyone else in his family was full of grief when his married daughter died. But the ever joyful Navagopal, whose mind always dwelt high on the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, said, everything happens according to the will of Master. It is needless to lament. Let us do whatever the duty has to be done. But there is no point in lamenting or worrying or crying. So that's why you should note that in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has told many times that you don't have the right to grieve. Na shochitam arhasi. You should not grieve, you should not lament to Arjuna. Through Arjuna, Lord Krishna is telling, it is Agnanis, people who are in nescience, avidya, they lament. But when you get the knowledge, you will not lament, but you have to do whatever the duty has to be done. But there is no question of lamenting, grieving. So getting into that stress mode. Lord Krishna tells, if you read Bhagavad Gita, it tells, Na shochitam rahasi, do not worry, do not worry. So here, by the contact satsanga of Sri Ramakrishna and also the teachings and the way he had the faith in Ramakrishna, you can see at the fragment of his life when his family members were dying, when he saw his own married daughter die, and all the others were lamenting and crying. It was now Gopal Ghosh because his mind was ever joyful at a very high state. So, thought and told during that time, everything happens according to the will of the Lord. Everything happens according to the will of Master. It is needless to lament. In 1909, at the age of 77, Navagopal gave up his body. Before his death, he blessed his wife and other members of his family, saying, please do not grieve for me. The human body is subject to destruction. So it is the same idea given in Bhagavad Gita. At the time of the death, you see, you should remember these things and remember the teachings of Ramakrishna and put it into practice. Everyone will be crying to give up the body, they will be afraid, they'll be shivering to die. But here you see, so calm and quiet at the time of death, and he's telling all other members of the family, he's blessing them, his wife and other members of his family, saying, please do not grieve for me. This human body is subject to destruction. I'm not the body. So he knew that he is not the body. So this human body is subject to destruction. And also he tells a wonderful high note which he has realized. He's telling, I am not the doya. Then who is the doya if I am not the doya? It is the Lord. It's the Master who does everything. We are his children. He will look after you. He will always help you. He will always look after you. The Lord will always look after you. Master will always help you. He will look after you. Giving up lamentation, please chant the name of Sri Ramakrishna. That's what we can do. Take the name of the Lord. The Guru has given you the mantra. Chant the name of the Lord. That is the only remedy. The remedy for weakness is not to brood over weakness, but to think of strength. What is that which gives you strength? The name of the Lord, very powerful. So here Navagopal is telling, please do not grieve. Giving up lamentation, please chant the name of Sri Ramakrishna. These were the words of advice of Navagopal before he died. Please chant the name of Ramakrishna. Please chant the name of Sri Ramakrishna. Should we not take this wonderful piece of advice? He might have given it to his family members, but it is. We are reading it. We have all got this wonderful teaching. So give up lamentation, give up grieving for this unreal world, whatever it might be happening, insult, miseries, problems, losing money, losing property, so many other things you are undergoing. Now, if you take the name of the Lord, everything will come to your control. You can see in his life. So he's asking us, every one of us, give up lamentation, give up grieving. Please chant the name of Sri Ramakrishna. Do your japa. Then while he himself consciously chanting the name of Master, during the time of death, either you will be in coma, be dirtying yourself on the bed, soiling everywhere, crying, lamenting, being in coma. We will have what a very bad death. You can see here, Navagopal is not only telling others to give up grief and think of Ramakrishna and chant the name, chant the mantra, but at the same time, you can see just before death, while consciously chanting the name of the Master, Navagopal breathed his last. Those present saw an expression of radiant joy on his face without even any trace of pain. No trace of pain, joyfully. His face, people could see who were present around him during the time of death, an expression of radiant joy on his face. Not even a face not even a trace of pain in his face. So Navagopal, taking the name of Sri Ramakrishna, breathed his last. Nistarani Devi, the wife of Navagopal Ghosh, she outlived her husband by many years. She was very close to Holy Mother Sharda Devi and other disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. When the monks became extremely sick at the monastery, Nistarani Devi would take them to her home and arrange proper diet and medicine for them, just like the mother, serving them as if they were her own children. Because her own children, Nirodeva, had become Ambikananda, he had become a monk. So even all the other monks felt very free with her and respected her like their own mother. Just imagine how this lady, just like Navagopal Ghosh, is spending her last part of her life in such a wonderful way. So after Navagopal gave up his life, Nisarani outlived her husband by many years. She was very close to Holy Mother Sharda Devi and other direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. And now see what a wonderful way she is serving the monks. When any monk became extremely sick at the monastery, she would take them to her home and arrange proper diet and medicines for them. So, what a wonderful motherly care she used to take, serving the monks, the sick monks, as if they were her own children. Because her son was a monk, the other monks felt very free with her and respected her. Swami Brahmananda stayed at her home for some time. Nistarani took her granddaughter Rani to Belur Math before the girl's marriage and sought blessings from Swami Brahmananda, the spiritual son of Ramakrishna Manasaputra, the direct disciple, whom Swami Vivekananda himself called as the spiritual dynamo. The Swami, that is Swami Brahmananda, blessed Rani, the granddaughter of Nistarani, touching her head. When they had left, he said to Swami Shivananda, "This girl will marry, but family life is not meant for her." After her marriage, she returned from her husband's home. An unknown fear possessed her. She would cry to the Master, Sri Ramakrishna, in the shrine, "Master, protect my life. Master, protect my life." Now, when she used to cry like that, when the granddaughter Rani used to cry like that, praying to Master, praying to Ramakrishna in that way, she had some unknown fear possessed her. Nisarani again took Rani to Belur Math and said to Swami Brahmananda, "Maharaj, my granddaughter Rani is married, but she does not want to go back to her husband." Now Swami Brahmananda said, "Your health is not good. Who will take care of the shrine? Henceforth, Rani will serve the master in your house." You know that Swami Vivekananda had established that image of Sri Ramakrishna, small image, singing there, and after doing the puja, he had composed that pranama mantra of Ramakrishna, Stapakacha Dharmasya, Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatar Varishthay Ramakrishna Te Namaha. That was composed by Swami Vivekananda in an extempore way there. So that shrine was established there, master was established there by Swami Vivekananda himself, and he had done the puja there. So who will look after that shrine? Nisarani, you have grown old. Let this granddaughter of yours, Rani, let her be here. She will look after Sri Ramakrishna. Your health is not good, Nisarani. Who will take care of the shrine? Henceforth, Rani will serve the master. Nisarani then asked Brahmanandaji, Swamiji, that is Brahmanandaji, Nisarani is now asking, if you knew that family life was not meant for her, why did you not tell me beforehand? I would have not spent so much money for her marriage. That could be spent, all that money could be spent, we could have saved that money for some higher purposes. If you knew that her life was not meant for family life and her marriage would not be good, you knew that earlier, could have told me, I would have not made her go this difficult portion of the life. I would have not made her marry. She could have stayed that way doing sadhana. Why didn't you tell me? Asked Nistarani Devi to Brahmananda. Maharaj then told it was in her destiny. It was in her destiny, replied Swami Brahmananda. Later, Swami Brahmananda himself initiated her into the mantra, and after that she lived like a nun. Holy Mother Sharda Devi, hearing Rani's story, told her, my child, this world is a hot frying pan full of pain and miseries. This world, my child, this world is a hot frying pan. The Master saved you from the miseries and difficulties. Master has saved you. So this is a wonderful event. So to see the attitude of Nisarani Devi and also the wonderful way Swami Brahmananda handled this. Nisarani Devi had a granddaughter by name Rani. So she took that granddaughter Rani to Belur Math before the girl's marriage. And she sought the blessings from Swami Brahmananda because Swami Brahmananda was a realized soul, Brahmagnani, he knew everything. Now the Swami blessed Rani, touching her head. When they had left, Swami Brahmananda knew everything. He told Swami Shivananda, another direct disciple of Ramakrishna, this girl will marry, but family life is not meant for her. He prophesied that she can't lead a married life. Family life is not for her. Now, after her marriage, that girl returned from her husband's home. So, after she returned back, an unknown fear possessed her. She was afraid to go back to the husband's house. She would cry to Sri Ramakrishna in the shrine, Master, protect my life. I don't want to go back to the married life. Saying this, Nisarani Devi again took the granddaughter Rani to Belur Math. And now this time she said to Swami Brahmananda, Maharaj, Rani is married, but she does not want to go back to her husband's house. To which Swami Brahmananda replied, Nisarani Devi, your health is not good. Who will take care of the shrine? Henceforth, Rani will serve the master in the shrine. Then, now surprisingly, Nisarani asked Swami Brahmananda, Maharaj, if you knew that family life was not meant for my granddaughter Rani, why did you not tell me beforehand? I would not have spent so much of money for her marriage. Then Swami Brahmananda replied, it was in her destiny, replied Swami Brahmananda. Later, Swami Brahmananda initiated the granddaughter Rani, and after that she lived like a nun. Holy Mother, hearing this Nisarani Devi's granddaughter's Rani story, Holy Mother told her, she called Rani and told her, Rani, my child, this world is a hot frying pan. So who is telling this? The Divine Mother herself, Sharda Devi, my child, This world is a hot frying pan. Now, the Master saved you from this world. What a wonderful statement. Holy Mother herself telling, my child, is this not all a statement of Holy Mother for all of us? So let us again read it. This may be meant to that child, Rani, but it is all for us. What is Mother saying? My child, this world is a hot frying pan. The Master saved you from it. Let us take deep into our heart this wonderful teaching of Mother. My child, this world is a hot frying pan full of miseries. It will burn you, it will fry you. The Master saved you from this terrible misery of the world. When Nistharani had taken the responsibility of the cat at Dakshineshwar, we all know that story, we read it earlier in the life of Nistharani Devi. So she had taken the responsibility of the cat from Ramakrishna. The Master blessed her, saying, what did Sri Ramakrishna bless her? Because she obeyed Ramakrishna and she took care of the cat. So now Ramakrishna has to bless her specially. So Master blessed her, saying, may all good attend you. May you have the vision of your chosen deity. Because Nistarani Devi obeyed whatever Ramakrishna told, and since Ramakrishna had requested her to take care of the cat, he told that mother cat and the kitten have taken refuge with me. So take care of them specially. And she obeyed implicitly. She told, just order me, Master. I will do your bidding. Whatever you tell, I am going to do. So Master was pleased with Nistarani Devi's that attitude of service and obedience. So Sri Ramakrishna blessed her, saying, what was that blessing? What a wonderful blessing she got from Ramakrishna himself. What is that? May all good attend you. May all good attend you. So if all of us, we are all the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna, or you may not be devotees, we are all hearing. Now what is that blessings of Sri Ramakrishna? If you do the work of the Master. Now what is the work that is going on? We are building a house to station Sri Ramakrishna here and look after all of us in Johannesburg, in South Africa. So if you do his duty, he's coming there, he wants to stay there. So he has ordered all of us, the members, to build a house there. And now we are doing that work. All of you join and do his bidding. All of us will be getting that wonderful blessings of Sri Ramakrishna, the boon of Sri Ramakrishna, just like Nistarani Devi. So Nistarani Devi did the work of Ramakrishna, obeying his words to look after that cat. Now we have to look after the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna in and around Johannesburg and also all over South Africa. So Ramakrishna has given this job to build this wonderful structure, the property, the ashrama, the temple, the auditorium and everything. So if all of us join hands, help do this work, the work of the Master, definitely this boon will be for all of us. And what is that wonderful boon which Ramakrishna gave to Nistarani Devi because she did that small work of his by looking after the cat, the mother cat and the kitten. So the same blessing, if we do his work now, to do this, Johannesburg Jairam Bhatti, joy, joy, Johannesburg Jairam Bhatti, if we all put our hands and help, then what will be the boon given by Ramakrishna to all of us? Yes, we'll go through that. May all good attend all of you. So you'll get all these blessings. May all good attend you. May you have the vision of your chosen deity. May you have the vision of your chosen deity. Then may all good attend you. May all good attend you. May you have the vision of your chosen deity. So we will get this wonderful boon. If you are already doing, many of our members are already doing the work of the Master to the extent of sacrificing their own family life, their own luxuries they are given up, and they are doing wonderfully well in spite of their work in the office, in spite of their responsibilities to their parents and wife and family. They are doing so much to the work of Ramakrishna. So already those people have got this blessing. What is that? May all good attend you. These are the words of Ramakrishna noted. It cannot be untrue at all. What is that? May all good attend you. May you have the vision of your chosen deity. So now what happened to Nistarani Devi? Ramakrishna had already given long back his blessed her in this manner because she did that. A small work of Ramakrishna, the words were kept up. Her chosen deity, Nistarani Devi's chosen deity was Ramachandra, Lord Ramachandra. One day, in the later part of her life, the fag end of her life, while repeating her mantra, the mantra given by Ramakrishna, while repeating her mantra, she saw Lord Ramachandra in front of her. As she was about to take the dust of his feet, touch his feet of Ramachandra, she saw in the place of Ramachandra her beloved Guru Ramakrishna in place of Ramachandra. Then the master said to her, smiling, now you know who I am. Wow, what so thrilling. So it given the boon that may all good attend you because she did this wonderful work for Ramakrishna, that small work of looking after the cat and the kitten because they had taken refuge at the feet of Ramakrishna. So she obeyed, took that kitten and the mother to the house and took proper care. And because of that small work she did, for Ramakrishna had blessed her. May all good attend you. May you have the vision of your chosen deity. Now it so happened her chosen deity was Ramachandra Deva, Lord Ramachandra. One day in the later part of her life, while she was repeating the mantra japa, while she was repeating, she saw Lord Ramachandra in front of her. As she was about to take the dust of the feet of the Lord, she saw her beloved Guru Sri Ramakrishna in the place of Ramachandra. Then Sri Ramakrishna said to her, what is the other secret given out? Smilingly Sri Ramakrishna said, now do you know who I am? Ramakrishna proclaimed to Narendra, who is Krishna, who is Rama, who is Krishna, has now come in this body as Ramakrishna. So now giving that vision and again showing himself in the place of Lord Ramachandra, Sri Ramakrishna is telling Nisarani Devi, then the master said to her, smiling, now you know who I am. As Nisarani grew old, she suffered from dropsy. Still, she continued her service to Sri Ramakrishna. In spite of her illness, she never gave up her service to Ramakrishna. She would ask her children to sprinkle a little Ganga water on her head and to take her to the kitchen. There she would make sandesh, the sweet, for the master. When somebody tried to dissuade her, she would reply, what do you mean? I fed Sri Ramakrishna with my own hands. I fed him. Personally, I fed him with my own hands. I promised him that I would serve him. Now, as long as I live, as long I'm alive, I shall do that. never stop me. Whatever might be the sickness, I'll never give up. I will serve Sri Ramakrishna. I fed him when Ramakrishna was alive. Now I have promised him that I'll cook for him. So until my last breath, I will never give up serving Ramakrishna. See, this is Dhriti, firmness in character. Never give up, she told, until my last breath. What do you mean? I fed the master with my own hand. I promised him that I would serve him. Now, as long as I am alive, I shall do so. Others would make luchi, fried bread, and other dishes, but Nistarani always made Sri Ramakrishna's favorite sweets. When Nistarani became bedridden, she could not bear the touch of any impure person. So, monks were then sent from Belur to serve her. Can you imagine? The arrangement by Sri Ramakrishna now, because she was so much spiritually elevated, she's a householder, she's the devotee, because she has risen up to such spiritual heights. Any impure person touching her, she couldn't bear it now. So, can you imagine? Ramakrishna has made this wonderful arrangement. What happened? Now, monks of the Ramakrishna order would come and serve her. When Nisarani Devi became bedridden, she could not bear the touch of any impure person. Monks were sent from Belur to serve her. On March 20th, 1932, Nisarani Devi hugged the picture of Sri Ramakrishna. She embraced the picture of Sri Ramakrishna, repeated the name of Sri Ramakrishna, and a deep meditation, slowly she gave up her body, she passed away. When the news of her death reached Belur, Swami Shivananda said to the monks about her, what did this direct disciple, the Brahma Gnani, the realized soul, the direct disciple of Ramakrishna Shivananda, said to the monks? They are not just ordinary mortals. All these householder disciples who come with Ramakrishna, they are not ordinary mortals. They are the companions of Sri Ramakrishna. That's why while we worship the deity, especially Ramakrishna, we do the worship with the flower. Sachandana Pushpaha, Sri Ramakrishna Avarana Devatabhyo Namaha, Sri Ramakrishna Shranga Devatabhyo Namaha. So they are all the eternal companions. They come in every age. These householder disciples are not ordinary mortals, they are the companions of Master. They come in every age with the avatara to play their respective parts in his divine drama. When Holy Mother Sharda Devi was in Vrindavan 1886-1887, she went one day to attend the Vesper service at the Radharamana temple. There she saw Nistarani Devi fanning Lord Krishna with the chamara, yak's tail. So later the mother said to her woman companions, during the Vesper service, I had the vision. Navagopal Babu's wife Nistarani was fanning the deity with the chamara. Ah, what love and what devotion she had for the master. She was, as it were, like one of the gopis, cowherd girls of Vrindavan. Once her sons told her, Mother, you talk so much about Sri Ramakrishna. Now look how your master has put you into strange circumstances. Enough of it. Don't talk too much about the master anymore. To this, Nisarani Devi replied, what do you say? I love Sri Ramakrishna. I have given my heart once for all to him. How foolishly you boys talk. Is this service and bhakti and devotion business? If the Lord give you something, then only I will serve you. That's very cheap bhakti. That's not true bhakti. True bhakti is you don't expect anything. Unconditional love. That is what she might have not expressed all those things, but these words are enough to show that. And what is that? When her children told, see how much of straitened circumstances has come to you, you have so much of faith in Ramakrishna, why did you do this? So enough of all this bhakti, stop talking about Ramakrishna, enough of it, don't talk too much about Master anymore. To this Tarini Devi replied, see her faith. What do you say? I love Sri Ramakrishna. I have given my heart once for all to him. How foolishly you boys talk. So they were bought with his love. They dedicated themselves at his feet. Ah, the more I talk of her, Nistarani Devi, her love for the Master, the more I feel a tickling sensation in my heart. Lust is self centered and love is God centered. Could you? We think, we all people, the moment we hear the name love, our mind goes to bodily lust and other things. That's not love. Shivanandaji is giving the difference. What is lust? What is true love? Lust is self centered. Lust is selfish, full of selfishness. Lust is self centered, and love is God centered. When you turn your love towards God, that is true bhakti, God centered. Nirodesh's mother, that is Nistarani Devi, once told somebody, you may do all kinds of spiritual practices, but your real success lies in knowing how to die. Whatever spiritual practices you might have done, but your real success of spiritual life is you should know how to die. Well, she proved it in her life, hugging Sri Ramakrishna's photograph picture and repeating his name. She has gone to Sri Ramakrishna. What a wonderful life. She was a true gopi, as Shivananda Ji Maharaj told in her life. She was the gopi. Holy Mother Sharda Devi also saw in the Radharamana temple the vision where, in that vision, she saw Nistarani Devi fanning Sri Krishna. So she had come again. They will come again and again with Avatara to serve him. They're all his eternal companions. So leading such a wonderful life. She has shown us the path, how to serve, what is true love, what is true devotion, Shuddha Bhakti. Whatever might be her difficulty, should never give up. It is not for the sake of that the Lord should keep you happy and giving all the things that I should have devotion to him. We have seen present day children, even some of the olden days people too. If the father is bringing the money, if the father is giving all that what they want, then they call him father and respect him. So father is ATM, all-time money. What is mother? All-time service mission. If she can't serve, she can't cook. If she don't look after you, then you don't respect her. You don't consider her as mother at all. You will put her to the old age home or nursing home. So is that true bhakti? Is that true parental love? Not at all. Whatever might be your father and mother, whether they have served you or not, to serve with it is care even more greater way that you serve God, we have to serve them, father and mother. So in the same way you can learn true bhakti towards God is whatever might be the difficulty, the miseries in your life. Your bhakti should never come down. Whatever might be the condition, you have intense faith in the Lord, you should serve the Lord. The path, that unconditional love, the true devotion has been shown by Nistarani Devi. So we will keep that in our mind, in our heart. And then we shall also try like her, we'll read her life again and again. Try to implement that in our life. Pure love, Shuddha Bhakti, whatever might be the extraneous circumstances, but we will serve the Lord with our heart, with our body, with our mind, and be blessed like Nistarani Devi. So we will take up the life of another householder disciples in our next session. They will stop this wonderful life of Nesthanali Devi. But we will never stop the meditation of the way she lived and on Ramakrishna. Thank you. Namaste. Om Namo Narayana. Om Priyatam Pundarikakshaha Sarvayajneshwaro Harihi Tasmin Tushte Jagat Tushtam Prinite Prinitam Jagat Harihi Om Tatsat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu Om Namo Narayana.